Hey everyone, and welcome to a recap of day 14 in the Karen Reed case. It was a day full of Sergeant Bukaki again. More cross examination, more changing stories, more desperation from the Commonwealth. I felt we started the day with motions. We didn't get to hear them argued, but we read them. One of them was that they wanted to deny the defense asking questions from Sergeant Bukaki about Proctor's relationship with the McAlbert family. We had a voir dire later on. He didn't really know anything about it, he claims, so that wasn't allowed in. It looks so desperate from Brennan that he wants to do this now. It kind of looks like he knows he's kind of effed. So he wanted to find out where is the defense going with their line of questions. But because we were already going, the voir dire wasn't held till noon. So AJ got 2.5 hours of good cross-examination before the voir dire. So you couldn't really even use it to figure out in what direction he was going to go if Proctor was called. I think it was kind of dipping the toe in the water and see, hey, what is he going to attack Proctor with? It was the same things as in the first trial, the McAlberts and Proctor being second family, that kind of deal. Did that work well in the first case? Well, it shows that Proctor is biased, but I don't remember the jurors that we have heard from have specifically pointed to that as a really good point. So if it comes in, it comes in. I don't think it's the end all be all to the case. It'll just be another thing showing that Proctor is a bad detective. Other than that, it was more of the same. Every question with Proctor, Yuri was trying to do he was a good guy, but I still believe he was a good guy, even though he said all these bad things, and even though I don't condone, even though I gave it a thumbs up, his looking for pictures and talking bad about the defense. He tried to play it off and no, it's totally normal, and then this stupid guy, and this is the guy who hunted people down for leaving plastic rubber doggies and claimed it was not freedom of speech, that it was harassment. This guy now claims that talking about looking up a suspect's nudes in her phone is a First Amendment privileged communication. I always have this big problem about the smartest, dumbest criminals, that they will claim that, well, they are so smart, they did this to hide everything, but then they did this that's absolutely ridiculous, that actually proves they did the crime. I have it the same way with this guy. We were just doing our job, but we were doing it while talking privately. You can't be communicating on government issued phones in a private capacity. And you can't claim First Amendment rights when you're a police officer writing to other police officers about a case, because that's discoverable. You can't say, well, imagine if you had a text saying, I want to pin it on her. And then you can claim, well, it's just my First Amendment. It doesn't show bias. I had a feeling yesterday, at least until lunch, Yuri seemed very deflated. He seemed like, I don't know what happened over the weekend, but he seemed like it wasn't a good day, that he haven't had a good weekend. We looked at a lot of videos of Higgins at the Canton PD that night. Remember, he went in to do administrative duty, and then actually he went in to move 2 cars because of the plowing. In reality, something we didn't see in the first trial. He does arrive in the Jeep. The Jeep does exist. I didn't believe it existed to begin with. But he doesn't arrive till 1:27. 1:27, he claimed in the first trial he left the Alberts residence around 1:30 till 1 o'clock. It's a 5-minute drive at most to go to the CPD. So if he left at 1 o'clock, why didn't he arrive till 27 minutes later? It's another thing that just don't meshes with a timeline. And his moving cars, first we see him with a phone, talking on his phone, which he claimed he didn't do. And we haven't seen any records of who he was calling at that time. Walk into the CPD, stay in there for a very short time, walk out again, move 1 car, go into another car, turn its headlights on, turn its windshield wipers on, sit in that car for a minute and a half, get out of that car, don't do anything to it. It's still just sitting there, which makes me wonder why. Then he goes to another car and grabs a big, it looks like a grainy video, but still looks like a big duffel bag out of the back of another truck, and then goes to his Jeep and drives off. That's way different than the stories he's been lying about to begin with, that he was doing administrative duties or he was moving cars so the parking lot was ready to be mowed. Not mowed. Plowed is the word I was looking for. And to me, again, why does everything seem fishy in this trial? Why isn't anyone clean? How can there be so much we have to talk about every single day? Why do they lie about everything they do? He will go on the stand and say, well, I misremembered. I was moving 1 car. I thought I was moving 2. What I was taking out of the bag, well, it was my laundry. He's going to lie about something like that. But why do police officers, ATF agents, why do they lie so much in court? Why do they lie to grand juries? It doesn't make sense. The more we watch this trial, and this is the Commonwealth's witnesses, the less I believe Karen Read could possibly have done it. I already believe she could have done it based on science. But at this point, I haven't been a guy who's been going into the conspiracies because I don't think it's my job to solve the crime. But I'm just sitting here saying, you have this guy running around in a parking lot at 1:30 after he claims he left the house at 12:30. How didn't you look into this guy? Oh, he was also flirting with Karen Read, even though he flirts about as well as I do. He wasn't a suspect. You didn't see any reason to look into this guy. Why are we here? Which DA in the rest of the country would ever have brought this trial? It makes no sense. And you can see how bad it went, because on the redirect from Brennan, all he did was just say, you were good, you're a good cop, right? You're a good cop, right? You did all you should do. And he was just, yeah. We looked at all the evidence. He didn't disprove anything. He didn't go back in and say anything to kind of rehabilitate his case. It was just, it's so horrible to watch. And I saw Brennan as just a guy who took a payday. But him, when he was presented with this case, he kept going. Shows me that he doesn't give 2 cents about anything. Because this is a horrible case. There's no evidence. Nothing lines up with any of the timelines we've been given at any point. And every witness lies. We shouldn't be here. Karen Read shouldn't be here. Karen Read shouldn't have sold her house to pay her bills, because there is no case so far. Today will be day 15. 15. and we still haven't heard who died. We heard it in opening statements. We heard they found a body. We haven't heard who died and why. We don't know who the next witness is going to be. Could potentially be the nephew and the niece, which I really despise. They're going to bring them. It's only to do emotional damage. They have no knowledge. Brendan wants to bring in the Aruba sisters now to prove that the relationship was bad because, yeah, you lost, my buddy. It's desperation time in Canton. Well, not Canton, Norfolk. But still, Brendan at this point should. Actually, I saw someone posting this yesterday. At this point, with this evidence, even though we know it won't happen, Bev should look them in the eyes and said, "You had a better case the first time around. I'm going to dismiss this case because you haven't met the obligation beyond a reasonable doubt." But we won't. The fast will go on. Day 15 today. Please join us. It's going to be a surprise who's the next witness, but it's probably going to be just as bad as every other witness. Hopefully, we will learn soon how they claim John died, because we still haven't heard that.